and Drew Hill will make the reception at the 11.
I'd like an order, please.
And still going, and got across the 13. Tina Turner ankled him at about the 25, and he drove forward for the additional yardage. So the Rams will put it in play, and here are the men who will stack up with Pastorini at the wheel, Tyler and Bryant the running backs, Waddy and Denard the wide receivers, with Pankey, Hill, Saul, Harris, Smith, and Arnold the tight end. For the Rams, with first and 10, the ball just at the 30-yard line. And Pastorini with his back split. He'll go to Cullen Bryant. Flag on the play as Bryant gets to the 38-yard line, and we'll see the interpretation of that in a moment. This is Red Cashin, our referee. The umpire is Art Demis. And it will be a penalty against the Rams. That might give us a moment, too, to set San Francisco defensively for you, and then we can get the show more or less on the road. Stuckey, Reese, and Border up front in the three-man front. Harper, Jack Reynolds, the ex-Ram, celebrating his 34th birthday, along with Craig Pookie and Keena Turner. With Ronnie Lott, Eric Wright, Colin Williamson, and the only veteran back there, Dwight Hicks, the free safety. So it is first and 20 after the holding penalty moves the ball back to the Ram 20-yard line. They'll go to Wendell Tyler, and Tyler got away from Willie Harper and then got back to the 25-yard line. So Harper had him at the 20, and he spun away.
You know, Ben, I think interestingly enough, the Rams obviously scout themselves just like every other good team in the National Football League. They start off from a passing formation and run the football. They ran a good play at the very beginning, but had a holding penalty. They use the same passing formation again, and this time run a sweep to the left side. But obviously, they're trying to break the tendencies that they've established so far this season.
Well, we'll take a good look at Wendell Tyler. Tyler figures to be very busy today on a 2nd and 14 from the Ram 26. Straight ahead, Mike Gooman, and he spins across the 30. Bobby Leopold knocked him down at the 31-yard line.
And Dean, on the obvious passing situation, instead of being lined up at his defensive right end position, he was lined up at the defensive left end position.
By the way, Hank, as we look at Fred Dean on a 3rd and 8 on the 32, if this is indeed a passing down, what do you do to stop this one-man gang?
Number one, they have to play a tight end on his side. He isn't nearly as effective with a tight end on his side as he is on the split inside. And you have to run right at him instead of permitting him to chase and rush the passer.
Well, the tight end, however, is on the other side of the lineup as Pastorini makes his drop. Irv Pankey takes care of Dean, and the pass is no good. Juggled by Wendell Tyler, and let's see where they're going to spot the ball. Just shy of the 40-yard line, so not enough for the first down. Bobby Leopold putting some pressure.
Now, Dean is on the right side this time. He was on the left side the last time. Now, watch Pankey, the offensive left tackle, blocking Dean, and he knocks him beyond the quarterback and permits Pastorini with the opportunity to throw the ball on the outside, but it's incomplete.
So it is a 4th and 1 on the 39, and Frank Corral standing on the Ram 25-yard line. Deep for the 49ers, Dwight Hicks and Freddie Solomon. And the kick will go towards Hicks as to backtrack to the 11-yard line. That's Ivory Sully flying by. Flag on the play, and he's going to be upended at the last minute by Joe Harris as he crossed the 25 and got to the 28. Let's find out about the flag as we saw Ivory Sully flying through the air. Flag might have been against Eric Wright. There you see Pat Hayden talking to Dan Pastorini on the sidelines. For Pastorini, of course, he's had 2 tough outings. You were talking about the drop of a quarterback, Hank. We'll get into it in a moment.
Illegal use of the hands during the run back. Number 21 of the receivers, half the distance to the goal, 1st and 10.
So the penalty was against Eric Wright. Illegal use of the hands, half the distance to the goal. And there you see the 49ers. Montana with Patton and Cooper, the running backs. Clark and Solomon, the wide receivers. Charlie Young is the tight end. And Montana putting it in play, 1st and 10 on the San Francisco 8-yard line. He'll start wide with Ricky Patton. And Patton getting away from a couple of tacklers, got it out to about the 12-yard line, so he picked up 4, and it'll be 2nd and 6 on the San Francisco 12. The drop of the quarterback, Hank, what are you looking for?
Well, you look for smoothness and you look for good time. To illustrate this point, Ben, I think it's very important for you to time the quarterback going back into the pocket every single day of practice. We did it consistently with Lenny Dawson. We want him to take a 5-step drop and be back there in 1 and 5/10 seconds.
Wow.
And if you go back there and spend more time going back into the quarterback position than that, you're in trouble, and you provide the defense with more of a chance to rush.
Well, maybe you can clock some of these quarterback drops, particularly when Pastorini's out there. Here's Patton with Ayers blocking, Audick blocking for him, but Carl Erkin stacked him right up. Eckern hit him head on at the 15-yard line. Picked up 3. That makes it 3rd and 3 as Ray Malavasi looks on. Defensively, the Rams have Jack Youngblood, Mike Fanning, Reggie Dawson, Cody Jones up front, a 4-man front as opposed to the Niners' 3. Then you have Youngblood, Eckern, and Andrews, the linebackers. At the corners, Irvin and Perry with Johnson and Cromwell, and you can now scratch Irvin. It's Pat Thomas at the left corner side.
You know, another thing is very important. The Rams play much better against a team who does not use the I formation than they do against teams that use a split backfield like the 49ers.
I'm going to ask you why in a moment, but Montana over the middle, and he has his man. And the man is Freddie Solomon, jitterbugging at the 30, and Solomon finally pushed out by Nolan Cromwell at the 33, almost the 34-yard line for the first down.
Pat Thomas slipped and fell. Good protection. Throws the ball well. Watch Pat Thomas, 27. Slipped on the play. Solomon does a good job of running. Eludes another tackle. Finally knocked out of bounds by Cromwell, number 21.
What's the difference as far as running out of the I and running from the split defensively, Hank?
The I formation is a great formation to take advantage of teams that over-pursue, and if you only have one middle linebacker, like the 4-3, why, you have a chance to run behind the middle linebacker and make a lot of yardage.
That's Davis carrying that across 35. Johnny Davis, the 4-year man, Alabama. Joe Montana. Does he remind you of anybody?
Yes, he does. From the waist down, he reminds me of Joe Namath.
And what do you mean by that?
Well, because he's got a very high split. He's split high. He gets back into the pocket very fluidly and nice and smooth. He's got a good, smooth delivery, but he really reminds me an awful lot of Joe from the waist down.
2nd and 5 on the 49 or 39-yard line. Just the start of the ball game. Play action fake to Davis. Now Montana goes to the right side to Mike Schumann, and Schumann is boxed in and knocked out of bounds at the 46-yard line by Pat Thomas.
You know, the other great thing about Montana is the fact that he's aware of what's happening. He's totally aware of where everybody is on pass patterns. That time, for example, he looked to the left and threw the ball back over to Schumann onto the right side. And look at this Tampa Bay score, 37-3 over the Green Bay Packers.
Meanwhile, New Orleans edge Houston as Bum Phillips comes back to get vengeance, 27-24. Cincinnati knocked out Denver, 38-21. Cincinnati, of course, we saw last week demolish the Rams. 1st and 10 on the 46, and Montana going to Charles Young, the tight end. He was hit by Johnny Johnson and knocked down finally by Nolan Cromwell and Carl Eckern at the Ram 40-yard line. Another first down.
That was another play-action fake, faking inside. And watch Montana. Watch how smooth he is, and watch his footwork. He steps, he throws. Great follow-through, good catch by Young. But he follows through so well that his right foot comes off the ground very much like a baseball pitcher.
And so it is 1st and 10 on the Ram 40-yard line. Charles Young is no longer a tight end. He was a wide receiver on the left side. There goes Ricky Patton, and Johnny Johnson brings him down to the 35-yard line. You know what's interesting, Hank? The 49ers do not have much of a running game. The Rams have a great pass defense, and yet, knowing all of that, they've been able to pass on the Rams.
Well, they pass very intelligently. They don't try to